My name is Mikey Hanks. I work with Washington Fruit and Produce Company. I'm the system operator here, which means I run things like the defect sorter from Compact or our robotic system or any of our infrared technology for internal sorting. Also in charge of inventory systems throughout the warehouse, as well as receiving fruit for harvest time. We work here basically year-round. We're one of the larger ones in the area. We pack about 450 to 500,000 bins of apples per year. And in a day, it's about 2,000 bins a day. We run 2 shifts a day, 10-hour shifts, 7 days a week for half the year, and dial it back to 6 days in the slow season. With running that hard and that many hours, it's really important that the equipment does not break down, and we spend very little time fixing it, more time operating it. And with this system, with this line we have here, it runs really well and allows us to do that. 500,000 bins through one machine. It's the only one the company has. We're looking to build a second one coming up the next year. We're approaching our 4th season under this one line, and it was a Van Doren front end with a compact sizer on it. And since being built, I've grown relationships with the people at Compact and Van Doren, not just like business partners. We actually do things outside of work, and we're friends both overseas and here in the States. And because of that, it's just because of the service. They're here showing their face. They know my name, I know their name, we know things about each other's families because their presence is here enough to make sure that the service level is high enough. And because of that, if things work, if we have a problem, it doesn't have to take much time to have them come look at it because they're usually here anyways asking questions if they can fix it or make it better. I was lucky enough to go down in March and look at the Compact facility. And from when I started in 2010 here, the company has grown hugely. And you can see down there the old buildings, they're converting into new buildings, so they just need more tech stuff and more research and R&D. And the changes that have happened on this line itself, like leapfrogging technology in front of itself. Down there I saw what's coming next. And amazing, what's coming next is so much better than we have now, which was so much better than last year. So it's just like an upward slope of just climbing, getting better and better every year. So the new facility, we went with the defect sorting system through Compact. The old one was just color sorting. We just knew if it was red or green, basically. Now we can see that red or green apple in many more pictures with side angles and much higher resolution. Since we started, we upgraded a different LED system. It's the new and best thing. It has a higher strobe, so you get a clearer picture. And that clearer picture allows you to see little specks on the apple, like a tiny little puncture, big lenticels, russet. You're starting to pick up bruises pretty well. And with that, we reduced the amount of sorters and increased line speed because we moved them to fill in boxes down there. And it's a more consistent grade all day long because you program it that's a limb rub, and that's going to be a limb rub no matter how many times it goes by. Or that's a bruise because no matter how many times that goes by, it's a bruise. No one was yawning or looking with a friend or something like that. So it's allowed us to be a much more consistent packer and run much faster. We also have the Taste Tech technologies, which is a really cool thing. It allows you to sort internal issues in the fruit. In the past, you had to cut an apple to see what was inside, but once you cut the apple, you can't sell it anymore because you cut the apple. So this allows us to, using the spectrometer and near-infrared technology, see what's inside. We currently use it for sorting soft fruit out. We do internal browning, decay, core rot, all that very well. And it helps us keep the grate on the floor clean. So when it gets to the buyer, they cut it open, there's nothing wrong because we got it out ahead of time. The software, it's user-friendly on the basic level, so making small adjustments is very user-friendly, just plus or minus. But to get in and actually program the system to do what you want to do, it takes a little bit more of a depth of knowledge. But once you get it, it makes sense. It's all the same throughout the system. So one good long training session will get you set, and then just keep playing with it and you learn how to do it. And eventually you can make it do almost anything you want to do. You need someone able to do it. If you're just there once a month just looking at it, you'll never pick it up. It actually takes a little bit of time to get all the benefit out of what that system can give you. So with the amount of effort you put in is what you get back. So if you just wanted to color sort and do basic defect sorting, that's really easy to do. But when you want to separate the difference between a leaf and a puncture or really get into defect sorting, like the size of the bruise, the depth of the bruise, that takes time. It's a higher end machine, takes a higher caliber operator to get it working properly. So the great thing is a person like me can go in and I can set up a program and I don't have to be here once it's set up. The other guys, the supervisors just run the line, can make the adjustments off that once it's set up and good to go. One great thing when we first started, we hadn't ran this before. And the Compaq had sent a gentleman from New Zealand up here. He spent a week here with me, hands-on, teaching me how to run all the equipment before we started. And once we got going, you could pick up on it, and he left me on his own, but he didn't just leave. He left me with his card, his phone number, his email, along with other people in the company. So whenever there's issues, I could just call them up and ask them, and then just keep the communication going, keep the training going. And the Compaq also has a new thing they're doing. It's an after-sales training system. And so not just the initial training happens, but you hire a new employee, you need them trained, they have a way to get them trained now. One of the reasons we went with the Compaq, and we love Compaq, and why we're getting another Compaq, is the fruit handling. The speeds we run, 4,000 to 5,000 fruit per minute across the transfer, that needs to be a smooth transfer, because that's going to be pounded with gentle fruit, like Golden Delicious. And these machines, they look like they're moving fast, but from one section to the next is a smooth transfer. And dropping off the carriers, it lands on a nice soft brush and gently set down below, versus just falling onto a belt and they bounce. Anytime it bounces, it's going to bruise, but these are nice, gentle transfers. Allows us to push a lot more fruit down his throat because it's gentler handling. When we're looking at designing a line, a few things we worry about is service. That is huge. Us being open 140 hours a week, we need to have someone that's on call 140 hours a week. And not just local support, but also being able to dial in and support. That was a huge benefit of Compaq and Taste Technologies. They have an on-call person all the time with the phone on their pocket, or they're sitting at the desk waiting for a call. And here in Yakima, we have Van Doren Cells has technicians that are partners with Compaq. So if there is a need for a local tech, they can send them over right away and get us fixed with that one. With Compaq, they're not only more high-tech, they want to be more high-tech. We've looked at other competitors in the industry offering sorters for apples, and they're happy with where they are. They think they're good enough, but I've never asked someone at Compaq, is this the best it's going to be? And they said yes. They're always thinking, no, it's going to be better. We're going to make that better. And that's really great to have, to know that you bought something, you're not stuck with that for 20 years. You bought something that's going to get better throughout those 20 years. And Van Doren, the front-end machine of ours, they're the same way. They built the dryer, but the dryer doesn't mean it works good because it dries the apples and the wax. They want a dryer that's more efficient, to use less fuel or uses a smaller motor and can get the same results out of there, so that your cost of production goes down incrementally as they improve their technology also. And they're here a lot. We have a lot of their engineers coming through, and they're taking measurements on our machine and seeing if it's better than what someone else has done, because they're comparing to try to get the best solution for our need out there. It's a huge competitive advantage to have a sorter like this. It allows, say for instance, we can shave $1 off a box in production time. We can sell $1 cheaper than anybody else. We don't have to, because we have a better quality product going out the door. We know that goes out the door without bruises, punctures, internal issues, because we sorted it out ahead of time. Coming up with the industry, there's been a big trend for technology. All the smaller guys that don't have the high-end machines like we have, or the sorters, they're going to fade out. You just can't compete using hand sorting versus a computerized sorter. And as that increases and you get everyone with the same defect sorter we had 4 years ago, then it's going to be the next step up, because everyone's asking for more and more. So the way the technology is increasing is making people that don't have the technology die out. And with that, the big guys are getting bigger. So we're growing really fast, eating up the market, because we have a better product to sell, because we have the machine to offer us a better product.